Okay, so students, will continue with the next topic here, like related to the documentation. So before that, we will have a quick recap always, and I want you also to write it again and again. Okay, you should not sit and listen to me only, but always you need to write. Okay, take a pen and paper and start writing in the rough. Okay, so now we were in the elements of SQC1. First element is your leadership. Second element is your ethical requirement. Third element is your client acceptance. The fourth element, what you have got is HR. Now coming back to HR, okay, this is what we started to discuss from today. So primarily we have got two elements in HR. One, all other stuff. So you need to have, for staff, you need to have recruitment policy, promotion policy, okay, training policy, etc. Yeah, this is even for an engagement partner also you have got. But for an engagement partner, which they have given in the study material in the form of a box, okay. So what you need to have, first thing you need to have identity of the engagement partner to be communicated to TCWG. The first thing is identity has to be communicated to TCWG. Who has to do this as part of the HR procedures? Now you need to hire competent, capable person, and more importantly you have to define and communicate responsibility to that engagement partner only. He should be aware like which assignment he has been put. Okay, so this is the two elements. Other stuff, all recruitment, promotion, training, etc. For an engagement partner, you need to have a policy to identify that partner and communicate to the TCWG, hiring competent, capable people and communicating that responsibility to the engagement partner himself. The next element, okay, your fifth element is your engagement performance. So engagement performance will have, okay, first, what do you mean by engagement performance? Like consistency. Like consistently you need to perform, bring the quality, because then only we can call it as a quality. How you will be able to perform consistently? Okay, first thing you have to be briefed about objective. Second, you need to have supervision and training. Third, you need to have review. And fourth, documentation. So when these four elements are done, you will be able to perform consistently. Like see, for example, I can bring you to your example also. See, yesterday we spoke about the objective. What is your objective? Why you are here? And if I don't remind you from time to time, eventually that performance will fall, consistency will fall. So from time to time, I have to remind the objective, supervise, train you, review your work, document. So this will result into consistent performance. Okay, next element you have got is about the consultation. Consultation for difficult and contentious matter. Contentious means controversial matters. Matters where you can have an argument with the management. Okay, so here you need to have people with the appropriate knowledge, documentation, etc. The next one is your EQCR, which is mandatory for your listed entities. Here primarily he will review significant judgment. This is the primary job of an EQCR. Okay, so then they will perform some other thing. Okay, significant appropriateness of the report, review of the financial statement, etc. Then we have got the next element called, if I proceed further here, I have got the difference of opinion. Because whenever you perform, all these issues will come. First question comes, how to ensure consistency. What if I have got a doubt? Who is going to review my work? What if a difference of opinion comes? Okay. And the last one is your engagement documentation. Okay. Now the documentation has to be done on a timely basis. Assembly has to be done within 60 days. Yeah, we'll write this, all these things in a proper form we'll write. Roughly we are writing. So I want you to write also similar way. Okay, now we will continue. As part of the documentation, now what is that EQCR documentation? See, this is general documentation, engagement documentation, that you have to do a documentation on a timely basis and all of the stuff here. This is the engagement documentation. Now what is this another documentation here, that is EQCR documentation. So care should be taken that the policies and procedures of the EQR should require documentation, that procedures required by the firm's policies on EQCR has been performed. That means there should be another documentation only for EQCR, that yes, you have performed that EQCR, it has been completed before the audit report is issued, and reviewer is not aware about the unresolved matter. We will discuss it later, students, because SA 220 also has got the very similar component. We will discuss this EQR documentation in SA 220. Okay, now let us go for an exam, September 25 examination. Okay, so you see these three elements, same elements are there in SA 220 also. I'll show you in examination how they have given an alternative answer. That means some students could have written from the SQC1 point of view, some students could have written from the SA 220 point of view, because points are same. Now let us go to an examination question. Let us see that. Now Munir is a practicing chartered accountant. He dedicated and Mr. A is a dedicated and capable article assistant from past 3 years, and he got recently qualified as a chartered accountant. Okay, the crux is there is one article student, he got qualified. Now, since he was very capable, he had a good analytical skill, etc., firm induced him as a partner on 1st of February 2025. This normally happens in the firm only in which you had an articleship. There only you will be inducted as a partner if your and skills are good. Now, on joining of the firm, he accepted his first assignment. What is the first assignment? As an EQCR only. For which company? J&J. So Munir & Co is a practicing firm. Okay. Now J&J Limited is a listed entity. Now who is doing the audit of this entity? Munir & Co only. Maybe there must be another engagement partner. That engagement partner work has to be reviewed by an EQCR. And who is that EQCR? Mr. A is the EQCR. Now who has become CAA? Now before finalizing the balance sheet of the company, CA signed few working papers of the engagement team as a token of review performed by him in terms of firm policies on engagement quality control review without even going through the audit file. See, this is the problem. This is the issue. And EQCR is never supposed, see, his work is to review others' work. You just don't put a signature and that you have reviewed it. He made no further documentation. This is also wrong, because EQCR is also supposed to do the documentation which we have just now seen. Assuming that team has performed the audit. And since the last year also they performed. So he actually trusting someone. Now comment. Okay, so the moment you see the word comment, students, in any of the examination question, you need to tell whether his act is proper or not. Whether it is correct or not correct. For this you are going to secure 1 mark. Please remember. Whenever you see the word called a comment. Now, this is the first question we have encountered. If you observe, they said comment on the act of CAA in accordance with the relevant professional standards. See, have you come across this word in any of the questions till now? Never. But this question, since they said as per the relevant professional standard, your quoting of this particular component is going to fetch you 1 mark. Yeah, you have to keep in mind. But I cannot guarantee you, because at least 4 or 5 questions you will see this word. Which question that 1 mark will be allotted? There is a suspense. That's what I say is going to maintain. So first thing is you should be aware, and as a matter of practice, you always quote the standards along with this name. Whether you will fetch the mark or no, different story. But in this process, at least 2 marks you will definitely fetch, which otherwise you would have lost. Comment. Wherever you see this word, please put your comment. Whatever theory you would have written doesn't matter. But if your comment is proper, like this person is not proper, finish, you got 1 mark. See, 2 marks you can score easily. Okay, now what is that you are going to write? So now you will talk about SQERs. Like first question, can this person be appointed as an EQCR? The answer is no. Why? Who can be QCR? Yes, that person should be a CA. Okay, this guy is a CA. That is fulfilled. He can be some person inside the organization. He can be another partner. That is also fine. But the problem is, whoever you are going to appoint as an EQCR, that person should have relevant experience. That means he should have been capable to be appointed as an engagement partner for a listed entity. No, he just cleared. He doesn't have any experience only. First 3 years, so he will not get the bank audits also. He has to work with some other practicing CS. Now, how an inexperienced person can review the work of an engagement partner of a listed entity? So you have to first explain here who can be EQCR. That theory you have to explain. Then you should have that in case of a listed entity, you should be an individual with sufficient and appropriate experience. Okay, so there are primarily two issues. First issue is, okay, whether can he be appointed? The answer is no. He should have told his boss, look Baba, please don't appoint me. SQC1 says some experienced person is required. The second issue is he didn't do the documentation. So this is the first part. Then you start explaining what is the story, this so and so, so and so, so and so. So you need to document procedures performed, review has been completed, and unresolved matters. So in the given case, he did not do this also. So he mere signed it. Okay. So mere signing of the working paper is not correct. This is the key word. Not correct. He shall maintain the documentation. Okay. Now, some students could have written, because there is very silent as to which standard is applicable here. So, since it is an audit, somebody could have written up from SA 220 perspective, or you could have spoken it from SQC perspective. See, this is what they are telling. Look, a student could have written from a SA 220 perspective, but here also you have to quote with the name, fetch 1 marks. You see, the evaluation shall include what does that EQCR should do. Okay, they said like this: review of selected audit documentation, conclusions reached, etc. And then what you need to document: procedures required, quality control review, not aware of. If you see what SA 220 told is exactly matching with what SQC1 told. So it really doesn't matter for you. And I say only telling any of the standards you quote, fine. So there were no working papers. So in the above, signing of the working papers is not correct. I hope you are clear, students. This is the verb. You need to write an answer. Now, unless otherwise specified, SQC says it is the documentation is the property of the audit firm. Now, what it can do, it can make, see, you see students, you go to a doctor, like you may have an surgery, you go to a lawyer. See, all the papers are with the doctor there. Okay, please understand, you go to a hospital, file is with the, because all the analysis is done, okay, conclusions drawn, everything is written. Why we are calling it as a property? Why? Because you cannot shift your auditor, because your entire history is with this auditor, your entire history with this lawyer, entire medical history is with this doctor. Now, will you go and ask him, sir, please give me? Will they give you? They may give you some extract portions, but the entire file, so they will not hand over, because they know if entire file is handed over to you, you can shift easily to another doctor, another CA. So it is your property, you need not give to anyone. If you wish, you can make a portions and extracts from the documentation, and such disclosures do not undermine the validity of the work performed. This is very important. And in case of assurance engagement, independence of the personnel. See, point is very simple, friends. Documentation is the property of the auditor. Like you are, see, we will do the mind map and all. Now, whatever mind map you are going to prepare, it is whose property? It is your property. You are only going to write it. Can I say, okay, after my classes, whatever you have written, please give it to me? No, it is your property. You have prepared it. So, if you want, suppose your friends ask, yeah, can you give? Yes, you can give. You can give some extracts. If you want, you can give full copy. No problem. But two things you need to keep in mind whenever you give extract. It says that it should not undermine, you see here, it should not undermine the validity of the work performed. What do we mean by the validity of the work performed? See, say for example, somebody asks you, say we prepared a very detailed mind map, for example. Some of your friends ask, hello, give me that mind map, I also want to see. So what you can do, you can take only one portion of it and give. Now, see, that one portion doesn't give a fair idea of the entire concepts. Now, what they may consider, what is this mind map they have done? They is not having everything. See, they undermine validity of the work. So when the client asks you some information, instead of giving full information, if you have given only part of the work, see, they may not understand what type of analysis you have done. Now, the part of the work can undermine your real work, what you have done. So when you are giving some extracts, when you are giving some portions, keep in mind that the client should not underestimate your work. This auditor didn't do anything. You see, one small working they have done. No. Behind it, there is one very big work. You didn't share it. So always when sharing, keep this, that somebody should not underestimate your work. And in the process of sharing, you should not lose your independence and unpredictability also. Please keep this also in mind. Don't share everything to the client, so that they understand your sampling method, they understand how do you analyze, okay, how do you select your audit procedures. No. They should not understand everything, because that is your secret. So when you are giving the extract, these are the two elements you need to keep in mind. So how long you need to retain it? So you have to retain it for a period of time sufficient to permit performing of the monitoring procedure, which we'll see later, so that you comply with the standard. In any specific case, you should be keeping with you at least for 7 years. In generally what happens, even though it is 25 years or 50 years, it will be there with us. If you go to the godown of that auditor, somewhere in the godown, 20 or 50 year back file also will be there. Nobody is going to destroy it. But our SQC says, yes, minimum for 7 years, you have to keep those files with you. Then if you want, discard. Now students, if you go back to the standard, there is some additional content. So what they have done, our ICAI, this question they have given in MTP and test your knowledge. That is called safe custody of the engagement document. And in study material, there is no content. Please understand. If you see the study material, there is no content. But if you go to test your knowledge question, which has updated in May 25, or you go to Jan 26 RTP, or you go to March 24 RTP, they have added one question whose content is not seen in the study material. See, for me, I feel very happy when I see such type of thing, and immediately I will mark it as a priority one. See students, if I go back, okay, how many questions are there in this particular chapter, in this Q&A? In this Q&A, we have got around 24 questions. See, 24 questions is somewhere you have to prioritize. But out of these 24 questions, see, every question is not important, because already some questions have come for your examination. Already some questions have come for your examination. Their priority has lost. So at least what I say, when you have got 1.5 days for the examination, you have to go through these questions, because these are all inconsistent questions. These are like time bomb for me. Any attempt, these questions can come. And the chances are these questions will see. From foundation till final, I have seen one pattern of ICI. In Kannada also, we have got that one saying. The saying is, Bagolo nai kachudilla. That means the dog which bark, it will not bite. Remember this principle in ICI examination. If you see one very simple, say, test your knowledge question, with very one single sentence, this is a dog which is not barking. Why? Because in the examination, same single line they will not give. They will give one case study. Okay, and that they will ask you the case study. And the questions like this, where there is a lot of inconsistency, where there is a lot of irritation, something in the study material you are not able to see the content. Now, these are all the dogs which are barking. Okay, don't worry, they won't bite. Why? In the exam, this question will be repeated as it is. They will not going to change it. Please see my analysis, what I have given every time, how, when it appeared, what happened, every history I have given to you. Statistics is there with you. Do some analytics, no? You see what I am telling is correct or not. Whenever the complications are there, that questions will repeat as it is. Okay, now what is the question here? Let us go through. Now, TPX and Co, Chartered Accountants, is a very large audit firm. It maintains the audit documentation both electronically, also in the physical form, also in the form of hard files. Fine. Now, the physical files are neither scanned and the physical files are neither scanned and incorporated in electronic file, not cross-reference to the electronic files. Okay, they have got some electronic files, okay, and they have got some physical copies. What is electronic file? Like for example, Excel data. This is an electronic documentation. Like in your office also you may be having. What is physical copy? Like management representation must have been given in hard copy. What they should have done? They should have scanned it and maintained a complete electronic database. No, but here there is a split. Now some data is in the form of electronic form, some is in the form of hard copy. But there is no cross reference and there is no scanning. Further, there are many instances where audit working papers do not contain whether the information was obtained from the client or prepared by the engagement team. That means whether this Excel prepared, whether you prepared it or the client gave you, there is no understanding only. Now, how do you view this situation from the point of view of quality control? Okay, chapter 1, in the audit, analyze. See, when they use the word analyze, you have to break this into pieces. That means there are some components here to the question. And in RTP also they have asked a similar question. Document remains scattered, no centralized, no audit working papers, lack of clarity, etc. Now you are going to say here that SQC1, okay, are you supposed to quote here? No, they didn't tell you, but anyhow, you are going to quote as per SQC1. Firm should establish policies, procedure designed to maintain confidentiality, safe custody, integrity, accessibility, and retrievability of engagement documentation. This is the only sentence you will see in the study material. I think it is there, right? Somewhere have they mentioned that confidentiality? Here, see, this is the only sentence you can see in the study material. Somewhere you see one line there. Now, what if you go to the original standard, you see how to maintain that safe custody, how to maintain integrity. So there is one detailed procedure for that. That's what we are going to discuss here. Anyhow, it's the same content. So how do you maintain integrity now? Because you have to maintain integrity. Now, integrity, where the engagement documentation in a paper or electronic or any other media, the integrity, accessibility or retrievability may be compromised if the documentation could be altered, ordered or deleted without the firm's knowledge. That if somebody is able to change that Excel file, somebody is able to change that documentation, okay, without the knowledge of the firm, then your integrity is lost. So one of the reasons for designing, implementing appropriate controls so that you have to protect the integrity. So how you can ensure that there is a integrity? Simple. First you scan original document. See, the moment you scan the original document, nobody can tamper that scanning, and more importantly, generate the scanned copies that reflect the entire content and integrate the scanned copies by indexing so that somebody should not alter some contents there. The moment somebody removes, you understand one of the pages missing, one of the scanned copy is missing, and then enable the scanned copy to be retrieved and printed as necessary. So this is what you need to do. So in the office, say you have got some soft copies. So do one thing, do the password protection. Okay, keep on indexation. Okay, everything you convert into PDF format. You give one sequential numbers there. Okay, put a password protection so that nobody can change it and none of the documents can be missed. Reliability. Also been stated, there are many instances where audit working paper do not contain detail whether information is obtained from the client or engagement team. This is another issue. So if you are not sure whether the client gave or the firm only prepared, so it is important to identify the source of the document also to ensure the reliability. So always you have to make a note, okay, whether the client gave this or you need to have some other form of documentation to prove it. So physical files are not scanned nor cross-referenced. So this demonstrates lack of completeness. Okay, and they will not be able to complete the within the time frames of SQC. So this is what I told. It is not available in Test Your Knowledge. So this is the contents which I have added in the study material. Okay, so mark that question and see, this is the all about your documentation. I hope it's clear, students. Okay, now we will go to one more question and I will call it as a level 3 question which has been added in the RTP of May 26. Now always note, till now we have been discussing only level 2 questions. You see, monitoring and leadership was added. Then they used to ask one questions about your ethical requirements only, or they were asking questions on EQCR. Now what is this level 3? You see, now let us see this RTP May 26 question which has been added recently. Now, KRM Associates Chartered Accountant is the statutory audit. And you see, student, this type of question, no, you should be feeling much comfortable in upcoming days. KRM Associates is the statutory auditor of a Velocity Engineering Projects Limited, which is a listed entity. So the moment you see the listed, yes, EQCR should strike to you. Now, what this Velocity company is doing? It is engaged in the large scale infrastructure projects under engineering, procurement and construction contract, EPC. That means what they do, say for example, you want to set up one steel plant. See, they only will, see, you have to just give their site. They only will come, they only will design, they only will procure the material, they only will set up, they only will start and hand over the project to you. This is called the EPC contracts, engineering, procurement and construction. So that Velocity Engineering, who is a listed company, is engaged into EPC contract. The EPC contracts are very complex to us because there are milestones. 1 minute. Yes, so we were in the EPC contract. Now, the firm has an experienced partner designated as an engagement quality control reviewer. Okay, because since it is a listed entity, you have got an EQCR listed for listed audit. That's fine. He's an experienced partner. So there is no doubt about the qualification. During the audit for the year ended 31st March, the engagement team noticed the following matters. 1. Revenue of 1,250 crores recognized under long-term EPC contract using percentage of completion method on cost to cost input method under Ind AS 115. Yes, if you have completed the Ind AS 115, you see that when there is a over the period of time at a point in time, since your OPC contracts are over the period of time, you have got a method to recognize. That's called a cost to cost method. They have adopted. That's fine. It is perfectly as per Ind AS. However, what is the challenge here? There is a significant variation claims and escalation clauses. That means there is a significant portion of the contract are variable revenue. And the moment variable revenue comes into picture, so there is a lot of scope and opportunity for the management to play with it. They are included in the transaction price based on the management's assessment of high probability of a recovery. So what their management has included, added some escalation clauses and all, and through that, no, they have got an opportunity to recognize higher revenue, being more aggressive and much opportunist. This thing, being more positive about the future outcomes. Now, second, this is the first issue: impairment testing of investment. So there is a significant judgment now in revenue recognition. Impairment testing of investment in a step down foreign subsidiary. Okay. Now we have if you see this Ind AS 36 impairment, you see that there is a foreign subsidiaries also will get impaired. Location, full goodwill method and all will come. What is this step down subsidiary? They are called a sub subsidiary. Okay, so this is the Velocity Engineering. They have got one subsidiary and they will have another subsidiary in a foreign country. This is called sub subsidiary or step down subsidiary. So this is your step down subsidiary. Executing overseas EPCs contract where cash flow projections were based on aggressive assumptions about the future outcomes. Okay, again here also there is high risk of misstatement. Management can start playing with these numbers. This is also one of the important issue. Now there is a disagreement between the senior member. See, the keyword is disagreement regarding the inclusion of the variation claims as part of the transaction price. Now, who is having a dispute now? Senior member of the audit team and the engagement partner. So, one of the member of the team and the engagement partner, with the senior member recommending external technical consultation. Okay, so that means this is a part of a consultation now. When you have got a difference of opinion, you are supposed to do the consultation. So, somebody is recommending that. The firm did not have any internal infrastructure specialist. Okay, you asked for a consultation. But is there anybody in the organization whom you can revert to? No, they said firm do not have any internal specialist. However, external consultation was obtained and matter was resolved without formal doc. This is wrong. you can obtain external consultation, that we have already seen in the part of consultation. Yes, if when you don't have any resources, you can seek out, but you have to have a documentation of what has been consulted and what you have implemented. That is missing. Then engagement quality control reviewer was informed about the audit, but the review was conducted only at a summary level. No, you have to see all the significant judgments. Detailed evaluation of significant judgments related to revenue recognition and impairment not performed. See, these are all the instances where the ROMM is very high. Risk of misstatement is very high. How an EQCR can leave these two entities, these two issues? The audit report was signed before completion of the EQR documentation. That is also lapse. Audit report is supposed to be signed only after EQCR completion. EQCR have never done their job, and here audit report has been issued. Then what is the fun of EQCR here? Only for the sake of regulation, like for the sake of compliance you are doing. And the difference of opinion were not formally recorded. This is also not done. Now, the working papers contained a general review notes, but no detailed documentation evidencing the depth of consultation or completion of objective EQCR procedure prior to the issuance of audit report. This is also wrong. So you are, see, in examination, don't expect all the 6 points will come. Maybe 1 or 2 points they can give. Don't worry. You are required to examine the compliance with the requirements related to the engagement performance, okay, which is the broad head, consultation, EQCR. So you have to check, have they complied with the compliance, complied with the engagement performance? No. Okay. So your answer in the given case, auditor is required to check so and so, so and so, leave it. Even though you don't write, no problem. Straight away, they didn't ask you which element and all here. Okay, we will first talk about the engagement performance. What is your objective in engagement performance? There should be consistency. How consistency is going to come? You have to brief the team of the objectives. You have to have a supervision, training, performance review, documentation. You tell me in this, where they are told that all these things they are doing for this work, where they are told that there is an, in fact, on top of it, there is a difference of opinion also. That means there is no clear-cut objective definition. Okay, there is no supervision, there is no guidance. I don't know how this audit is happening. Okay, so first thing you have to write this, and then you have to say in the given case, yes, so this is all about engagement performance. So there is no documentation, there is no supervision. This is the problem. Second, management have the one of the manager raised consultation. So consultation should happen difficult and contentious matter. Okay, so it should require to be documented. It should be implemented, and you have to consult with the proper person. Okay, in this case, and they said if you want, you can consult externally. In the given case, disagreement existed, external consultation is done, everything is fine, everything is perfect. Okay, the matter also got resolved, but the only issue here is no documentation of the consultation process was done. Again, this is also non-compliance. So first you write the theory of consultation and you connect it to the given case. Now come back to the EQCR. First you say, who is the EQCR? EQCR is a very good person here. There is no doubt about the qualification of the EQCR, and significant judgments has to be evaluated. What a EQCR is supposed to do? Okay, have you appointed? Yes, you have appointed. And but what that EQCR was supposed to do, he was supposed to do significant judgments evaluation. But he seems to be, he has not objectively evaluated in depth. That means EQCR is also a non-compliant. So you say that in the given case, that your engagement performance, consultation and EQCR all have been failed. This is your final conclusion. I hope it's clear, students. So we will proceed further. And yeah, this question is a very important question. I have marked, please mark it as a priority 1. Okay, so in your book also, please mark it as a priority 1. So whenever we find this type of issues, no, we will have to mark it as a priority, because at least one day before the examination, we have to just go through this type of questions, because it's a very different way they have answered it. Yes, the last element for SQC1 is the monitoring. Now, what is monitoring? Monitoring, okay, what is monitor? See, one is your TV monitor. Are they talking about this? No. We are talking about the monitoring, that means observation. You see, patients has to be monitored. What exactly happens in the monitoring of a patient? A patient is closely observed for the changes happening. Correct? Do you agree with me? What the doctors or the nurse is going to monitor about a patient, about their changes. And according to the changes, any new developments happen, anything changes, yes, they effectively do the treatment. They will change the system, they will change the procedures, they will change the medicine. Similar thing of monitoring should happen in your firm also, in SQC1 also. See, you have put up the policies and procedures, fine. But is that relevant to today? So what do you mean by relevant? I'll give you one small story, okay? I'll just tell you one small story. Very funny story. You must have also heard about it. See, there was one priest, okay? And that priest is very much fond about its cat. This is the cat, okay? Now, this cat, no, wherever they used to do one type of puja, like for example, Panchamrita and all, that milk is there, no? There is one element of a milk in the Panchamrita. So this cat used to come to drink that. So what this guy did, no? He put one bucket on the cat whenever he is doing that puja, and then he started to do the puja. This priest had one son. This son always observed what father is doing. Now always no, he observed that whenever he is doing puja, he is putting one bucket on the son, on the cat. Now putting this bucket is one control. Now is it addressing the risk? Answer is yes. Is it relevant? Answer is yes. After some time, this priest died. Now son became the main priest. So what happened now? Whenever he was doing puja, he used to put that bucket on the cat. Yes. Now again one question comes. Does the risk exist? Yes. Is the control relevant? Yes. Now one day this cat also died. Now when big problem came, how to do puja now? Now this person consulted another person. That person told a very simple example, a simple solution. He told, why you are worried? You go to the neighbor's house, bring one cat, put it a bucket on it, and then do the puja. No. See, now comes the problem, students, because risk only doesn't exist. Why you are inviting the risk? When the risk doesn't exist, what is the fun in control? Why? Because the controls are no more relevant. Please understand here. Now, having relevant control is not sufficient. It should be adequate also. You have put one bucket. Bucket has got a hole. Then what is the fun there? Cat will escape through that. And more importantly, it should be operating effectively. See, there are three elements. First of all, it should be relevant, it should be adequate, and it should be operating effectively. Now, how do you monitor it? Very simple. Okay, you should have one ongoing consideration of evaluation, and you need to have a periodic inspection of selection of the completed. See, if you go to the original standard, there is so many stories, contents about this also. Anyhow, we need not go into it. This is called something called, see, one, we have come across one review here. Somewhere we said we have to do review. Okay, in the previously, we have said that we have to do a review. This is called a hot review in audit language. Hot review means as and when the work is done, the senior is reviewing it, engagement partner is reviewing it. And after the work is done, okay, maybe once in a year, you randomly pick some files and other person will do the evaluation, and this is called a cold review. And what they are telling, you have to do some cold review of completed engagements. Periodic inspection, maybe every 6 months or every 1 year, every 2 years. Now, why you are performing this periodic inspection or the cold review? It's more like a post-mortem. Here, the objective is not to find the fault. You are trying to see, okay, have you complied with the quality control procedure? Is it more relevant now? Should you change any of the quality control procedure? Why? Because see, this itself, the work is fantastic. That itself shows you have got a very good quality control procedures. So this is one of the way to monitor the quality control procedures. So what are the factors to be kept in mind while monitoring? Okay, this question has already come for the examination. Whether deciding whether the quality control system is appropriately designed and effectively implemented. Like for example, monitoring a patient. First thing, the hospital or a doctor has to see, okay, what all quality control systems have been there, have been properly designed and effectively implemented. Whether any new developments have happened in the professional standards, like India's came, okay, some new act came, Bitcoin related some provisions came, so the legal regulatory developments happened. Have you incorporated in your quality control policies? This is what I have to evaluate. Then conducting, entrusting the responsibility to a partner with the sufficient appropriate expertise. You see, when a patient is there in the hospital, see, every patient will be assigned to someone. Huh? Some main nurse will be there, under that another. See, there is a hierarchy of organization structure, and they will be responsible for one doctor. The one doctor will be monitoring them. We know exactly which doctor is going to see which patient. So monitoring has to happen. So this responsibility has to be entrusted to some of the let's say some of the partners. You have to deal with the complaints and allegations, because if any complaints comes that there is a non-compliance, any allegations come, see, without fire there is no smoke. So you should not take it very lightly. You have to check whether is there any loophole in the internal control system or whatever. Taking appropriate remedial actions against the persons who are not conforming to the quality control procedure. Like, see, if you don't take the action about one person because of based on his seniority or whatever, see, all persons are going to follow. See, why persons are like, why somebody is punished? Okay, because this should give a message to other people, a tone to other people that this is not acceptable. When you do, this is one of the form of monitoring, that are my people following, and taking actions when the deficiencies are found in the design and the operation. Okay, design plus operation, we will see this in detail in chapter number 4, but for time being you understand the concept of design and operation. Okay, everywhere we come across this point called designing and operations. So what this design and operation we will discuss in detail. So whenever you see that either there is a loophole in the design or the operation, you have to take actions to correct that deficiency. Okay, let us see one November 24 examination question. With this, we will be completing with the SQC 1. Okay, this question is on monitoring. Very straightforward question. There is one audit firm with a good professional services. Okay, they have got diverse firms. They have got 7 years in practice. Okay, they are into different healthcare, everything, etc., manufacturing, hospitality, etc. Now there is a increased in the regulatory compliance and appointment of the new personnel. The senior partner is concerned about the proper functioning of the quality control, because from every day you are into different field. Like today you are in healthcare audit, tomorrow you are in education audit, third day you are in manufacturing audit. See, the more you add different diverse type of clients, it's very good from the practice point of view. But you see, for every sector there is a different regulatory requirements only, and whenever you are signing the audit report, you have to comply. Like if you are doing audit of an educational institution, and this university will come into picture there. If you are auditing a stockbroker, SEBI will come into picture. They will have their regulations. See how many regulations you have to understand. So you need to have a very good quality control system. We want to ensure that the policies and procedures are complied properly. So he suggests proper monitoring of the quality control. This is the 6th element. That will be the right approach. Discuss the factors that should be considered by CAT monitoring the quality control elements to ensure that they comply with SQC. And if you observe, student, this question never came in RTP, never came in MTP. It was not part of the study material. This was a very plain text in the study material. And you see how beautifully they give. Nothing, no confusion in the question only. Straight away they ask, okay, tell me the factors you consider for monitoring element of the SQC1 and comply with the SQC. They told SQC also. So here, your job, see, this is called L1 question. What is L1 question? Memory. You need not apply here, nothing to apply. You have to just repeat these points. Quality control is properly designed, new developments have been addressed, responsibility has been assigned, complaints and allegations have been addressed, actions have been taken for per people, actions are taken for the deficiency. Finish. You write any 4 points or 5 points, you get 4 to 5 marks. But the type of questions are only 10 to 15% in the exam. Anyhow, you can, with the memory also, you can, ultimately I know students, after a good practice, you will see audit is a very simple. See, for very importantly, you need to understand the reality. You cannot be in any imaginary or imaginary state. Okay, you please understand what is reality, what IC is doing, what tactics they follow. The moment you understand, you can have your own counters. You understand, okay, this is how they play with you. You can have your own play. You can have your own strategy. But if you don't understand how, what is the marking scheme, how it works, okay, how they mix the question, how they mix the concept, then it becomes very difficult, no? Because it's called a blind spot. So the more you become aware, yes, you can address it very easily. Okay, students, so I hope you have understood properly about SQC. So shall we start making one concept notes, mind map? So please take out your book, mind map book. Yeah, please take out your mind map book. See, when it comes to mind mapping, see, if you have got a very good method, you see the, see, you use your words. Okay, in fact, I wanted you to do it. So what I'll do initially, I will do the hand holding. I'll just show you how we can prepare the mind map. Okay, later you can explore. And if you find, no, there is a better words we can use, better way we can present, better way we can think. Because see, students, please understand, ultimately it is you who has to remember. And how to remember? So you have to go back to your roots from the childhood. Let's see, my daughter just 2 days back, she was studying something like about the this thing. What is it called? How the ancient humans used to use the stone tools. It seems something. Okay, she's in the 3rd standard now. She's trying to remember, and she's telling comma, full stop in the answer. What she's telling comma also. She's trying to remember that comma, where comma comes, where full stop comes. See, it is her style. Whichever way she is convenient, let her remember. No, whether she will visualize it, whether will she remember in the form of a song. See, that's why you have to figure out your way, students. Don't change your method. You are from the childhood you have been remembering. Okay, so let us start drafting the mind map. Okay, right. See, I will write in a big words and sentences. You can cut shorter, and if you have scale and all, you can make a proper diagram also. First, chapter 1. Quality control. Okay. First, see, mind map is nothing but a concept book actually. So first we have to identify how many concepts are there. So I can say there are 3 concepts. Primarily, there are 3 concepts. SQC1, SA220, and mechanism for review of quality. It's a small aspect. Till now, no examination questions have come, but it may come. And previously, no, it had a different elements. Okay, so we can write here. So in SQC1, whom it is applicable, what is covered in this, whom it is applicable. 1, audit. This essay, this is the inter-study material. But if you see in your test your knowledge or understanding, this is the first question. Then review, engagement, SRE, you have got other assurance, SAE, and you have got related services. SR. So what your SQC will be covered? It will be covered for 4 types of engagement: audit engagement, review engagement, other assurance, and related services. Okay. Then mechanism will have peer review, quality review, and FRA. Now previously peer review and quality review were one chapters, one chapter. So now they have removed that chapter from your syllabus. Very good, nice, fantastic surgery they have done for CA final audit. More than you, I feel so much relieved. to teach the current syllabus. Previous syllabus is never ending. Okay, now we will talk about SQC1. So SQC1, I can write in the form of chart here, or I can write in the form of graph also. So primarily it will have an objective. What is the objective? Establish QC system. Okay, what it should do? One, to comply. Law, regulation, professional standard. Then appropriate report. That's it. There are only two objectives. You have to comply with the law, regulation, and professional standard. Who has to comply? The firm and the personnel. So after constant reading, you understand it. But this is what you need to remember, students. And appropriate report has to be issued. Now, this is your objective. What is your element? Or you can also call it as a requirement. You can call it as an element or requirement. So there are 6 elements or requirement. 1, leadership. Responsibility. Okay, probably next time, no, we will, instead of completing and doing, we will try to do this from then and there itself. Second, ethical requirement. Third, client acceptance and continuance. Fourth, HR. Five, engagement, performance. And sixth one, monitoring. Okay, so they can ask you in the examination what are the elements or identify the elements, which we have already seen now. And whenever the question of responsibility comes, you can always quote the objective, and you can have your own style of presenting an answer. You always start, what is the objective of SQC1? If you see, if somebody is questioning about the objective and all, that's it. Yeah, try to reduce the space, because I am using too much space here. And every time, no, from time to time, whenever we have got tested, just have a recap of this. You are reading, and every day you are writing one homework. Finish. And I will show you in the next essay 220. It is not just humanly possible to remember, students. Don't try to remember the way, like all the words and sentences. I'll tell you, because from the study material, you remember this. This you practice, and then slowly go back to the study material content. Okay, now one of the first sub concept here, leadership responsibility. Yeah, if anybody, if you find I am fast, you can send me a message. You can stop. So first thing, when we talk about the leadership, one, we have got tone at top. Means, what is leadership? What do you mean by leadership responsibility? What do you mean by that? Okay, one, promote what they should do, promote culture of quality. Culture means belief, the practice, everything is considered, a language, everything we say now, our culture, dance, practice, okay, what you eat, what you speak, these are all part of your culture. So you need to promote an internal culture that the quality is essential. That means you have to make it part of your belief structure, that quality is very important in this organization. Second, CEO assume responsibility. Okay, that means ultimate responsibility should be owned by the CEO or the managing partner. Third, delegation. That means whenever you are going to delegate, or you can write appropriately, appropriate delegation. You can write appropriate delegation. So you know what to write, how to express this. And fourth, business objective subject to quality. That means, what do you mean by business objective? Any businessman's, what is the objective? Expansion. Anybody will, I told you. But whenever you are trying to expand, it should be subject to quality. If you can deliver the quality, then only you expand. So this is all about your leadership responsibility. So there are 4 elements: promoting the culture of quality, belief of quality, somebody takes the responsibility for whatever happens in the organization, appropriate delegation should happen, and business objective should be there. Now, how do you do it? Second element is how you are going to perform this. One, commercial consideration, not override quality. When you are choosing the client, commercial considerations do not override the quality. You have the study material, is the same content I'm writing. Second, personnel. See, it's not personal. Personal means employee. Personnel policy, that means their appointment, compensation, promotion, etc. Demonstrate quality. That means commitment to quality. So personal policy shows that you are hiring high qualified people, experienced people. And third, devotion of sufficient resource. That's it, finish, done. This is all about your leadership responsibility. These are the 4 points you need to remember from the what do you mean by tone at the top and how that is achieved. Now, with this, you are done with the leadership responsibility. Now, second, we will go to ethical requirement. So, who is going to specify code of ethics of ICAI? So, who is going to specify ethics? Code of ethics. So, what has to be done? I can say again, what has to be done? One, actions of leader. The leader's actions should demonstrate that fundamental principles compliance. Second, spread awareness. You have to bring that awareness, like next new generation, you need to tell what do you mean by code of ethics. I told my example of my daughter. Third, you need to monitor, are they complying? Fourth, deal non-compliance, take action. Like this, no, you will ensure that code of ethics has been implemented. Now, when you talk about code of ethics, this is about your fundamental principles. There is another element called independence. These are all your these are all the five fundamental principles like integrity, objectivity, confidentiality. So first, the leader only will follow, bring the awareness, monitor it, and deal with the non-compliance. Okay, now what about the independence? One, what you should do? Again, what should be done? What to be done? Communicate. Just like you are bringing spread awareness, you communicate what is the independent requirement. Identify threats. Like monitor. See, first is spread awareness of fundamental principle. Communicate independence. Second, you monitor here. You like this, you identify the circumstances and relationship. Third, take actions. Deal with non-compliance. Nothing but take action. So it's very simple now. And you can add one more element. Obtain annual written confirmation that everybody have complied. That's it. You add 4. Other unwanted things you can leave. So if any questions comes in the examination, what is the responsibility related to ethical requirement, what a firm should do? See, there are, when you talk about ethics, code of ethics comes into picture. Okay, we can put this arrow mark here. Code of ethics comes into picture. Code of ethics primarily says 2 things: fundamental principle and independence. Okay, now how do you implement the fundamental principle? First, let the leader only act, no, integral way, maintain confidentiality, And how independence is maintained? Okay, by communicating, identifying threat, taking action, and obtaining confirmation. Now comes one special case of familiarity threat. Okay, we can make it as a part of point number 6 only, because when you talk about an independence, we have to talk about the point number 5, familiarity threat. We can add it as a point number 5 only. Once you understand what it is, you can always explain. So for familiarity threat, you need to have a safeguard, and there are two types of safeguard. One, rotation. Second, EQC. So when you talk about rotation, max 7 years. That's it. See, in one picture only, you have represented entire theory here. So when you study, you say that, okay, what is ethical requirement? Simple. Code of ethics, ethical. Code of ethics talks about the fundamental principles and independence. So how the fundamental principles have to be implemented in the organization? Through actions of the leader, by spreading awareness, monitor and dealing with the non-compliance. How independence has to be implemented in the organization? By communicating, identifying threat, taking action and obtaining annual confirmation and addressing familiarity threat. How familiarity threat will be addressed? By putting safeguard. How many types? There are two types, rotation and EQCR. What is rotation? Maximum 7 years. Done. This is all about your second requirement. The next one, the third element, is client acceptance and continuance. So I will call it as by the word client acceptance and, because it is a very short word. As I should say, acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagement. So what is that you are supposed to do? Obtain vital information. Why? Okay. To decide integrity, which is not within your control, competency, ethical requirement. So integrity of the client. So you don't write client, you write promoters and key managerial, means in the examination question. Now competency and capability of the team and compliance with the ethical requirements. So in client acceptance and continuance, you have to always obtain vital information. Why you have to obtain? Because you have to decide, is my client integral? Am I competent? Can I comply with the ethical requirement? Because if I am already providing section 144 services, I cannot accept audit because it becomes an unethical thing. I am not supposed to do that. Now one question comes, what are the factors you consider for the integrity of the client? One, business reputation. Nature of operation, because somebody is into the cash rich operation, somebody's operation in a faraway country. So this doubt creates a doubt, why they are having. attitude of aggression. Somebody is very aggressive in terms of interpretations, attitudes of aggression or aggressive attitude. You can write like that. Attitude of aggression rather than you can write aggressive attitude. Fourth, low audit fees. Fifth, scope limitations. Money laundering. So these are all the cases. Okay, then you have got one more thing like non-appointment, reappointment of the old auditor. Any five instances are sufficient for you to remember. Next question comes, how do you evaluate your competency? One, personal with industry. Okay, I can write simply industry knowledge. You understand it, industry knowledge. Yeah, you understand. What do you mean by industry knowledge? That means person with the knowledge of industry and subject matter. Reporting requirements. That means somebody should be aware about the reporting requirements related to the regulatory requirements. Availability of experts. You see, for house related work, you go and contract some contractor. They say, no, no, we are busy. Why? Some experts are not available. They simply cannot commit. Availability of EQCR. Because if you are listed entity auditor, then you need to have that EQCR not available. You cannot touch. Timely completion. So you can see, can you complete within time? So you may have expert EQCR, but time only not there. So don't accept it. Yes. And there's nothing on the ethical part here. Yes, that's it. This is all about your. There's one more thing. What if this is missing? That means if any of the component is missing, that means integrity is not working, integrity is not good, you are not competent, or there is an ethical related issues. Okay, so in that case, you have to do two things. One, consider responsibility to report. That means you need to consider your legal and regulatory responsibility Professional and legal responsibility. Professional responsibility is to communicate to the ICAI. Regulatory requirement is to communicate to RBI, SEBI, or whoever authority is a regulator. And withdrawal. Consider withdrawal. So there are two considerations you need to make. So I hope you are clear. So these are all the three elements of advantage if you get the vital information. And if any of these components are missing, that means if you have got a doubt about the integrity or whatever, one, consider your responsibility to report. To whom? Okay, not required. You can understand ICA or the law, or consider withdrawal. So what if you consider to withdraw? If withdraw, then first point number one, discuss with TCWG. You remember I told one example today morning. You cannot simply, you have to have a proper level of the management. Generally it is TCWG. If you decide to withdraw, first you to discuss with the TCWG. Have actions required. So what actions are required? You first discuss with the TCWG so that you see whether you can address it. No. Discuss reasons of withdrawal with TCWG. So if you cannot address it, then you have to tell I am going to withdraw and tell the reasons. Third, consider reporting to whom? ICAI, regulator, or law. Fourth, document. You have to document the issues, considerations, consultations, conclusions, etc. That's it. This is all about the concept related to the third requirement called client acceptance and continuance. Okay, so the next element is the HR. Concept number 4 is, okay, I can go to the next line, next page. Okay, primarily for other staff, engagement partner. So for other staff, you need to have personal policy. So similar word we have used there also. What do you mean by personal policy? Hiring, compensation, training, promotion. That is called a personal policy. But for an engagement partner, okay, you have got a requirement 1. EP, engagement partner, has capability, authority, and time. The first thing, whoever you are going to nominate as an engagement partner, he should have a capability, authority, and time. Second, communicate to TCWG identity and a role of EP, engagement partner. Third, communicate to engagement partner of his role. That's it. Nothing more here. Yes, the concept number 5, what we have got is engagement performance. When it comes to engagement performance, the very first, okay, I can put it like this: consistency of quality. Okay, I can say A. Point number 1 is A. Consistency of quality. So how do you achieve it? Brief the objective, then supervise. Okay, I can brief the objective is more like a direction. You give the direction, then supervise and train, then review, and then document. Yeah, when you do these 4 elements, that when you brief the objective, you supervise them, review them, and document them, then you can expect one consistency of the performance with the quality. If you stop any of these activity, performance will go down. You see, no, everywhere. See, we are hiring a maid. Every time we need to tell, you need to supervise, review, document. No, after some time. Why? Because see, there is something called the second law of thermodynamics. Everything is headed towards disaster only in our life. The only way we can address it by putting energy. We can call that energy as an internal control. If we don't work, our performance will go down. So we have to bring that energy back again and again. Okay, so first element is the consistency of the quality. Second, if I take it further, B, the sub point here will be consultation. Yeah, I will share also, student, this material, whatever I am writing. If any of the points you have missed, no, you can later copy it. Okay, so when you talk about a consultation, what you're supposed to do? First, appropriate knowledge. Consult a person with the appropriate knowledge. Document. We have already seen one RTP examination question. Same thing. Documentation was missing. And implement. If you don't implement, then what's the fun in consultation? Otherwise, you should be ending up with a difference of opinion. And if you are agreeing, then you should implement it. So, consult a person with the appropriate knowledge, document what has been consulted, and implement. And if required, take advisory service. If you don't have a technical people who can help you, take some service from the outside people. That's it. Just remember this. Already we have seen this in the examination question. Whenever any consultation comes, you write these 4 points. Appropriate knowledge should with the appropriate knowledge, document what has been consulted. See, can't you write in your own language? You can write in your own language, but what has to be written, that is very important. These are all the keywords should appear in your answer. Then you can write. So if the internal technical skills are missing in the organization, take the advisory services outside the firm. See, simple language. I didn't tell any technical language, but ICA is going to award full marks because I communicated to ICA what is there in my mind. I never missed this. This is very important. Yes. Point number C. EQCR. Okay, what does EQCR do? Okay, first question we will ask here, sub question. When? You can say mandatory for listed entity. When you have to perform, it is mandatory for listed equity. What he will do? This is important. Evaluate firm's independence. Yes, this is what he is going to check. Appropriate consultation has happened. Whether have you done the consultation wherever required? Significant risks he will evaluate. Matters communicated with the TCWG is going to evaluate. Materiality, and last, appropriateness of report. Okay, so these are all the broad activities that EQCR is going to evaluate. So when it should be done? It should be done for listed entity. What is to be done? What he is doing? He is doing evaluating the independence. He is checking whether consultation has happened. What type of significant risks were there? Have you communicated the matters which are supposed to be communicated as per SA 260? What is the level of materiality you have decided? See, overall at a high level activities will be seen. Okay, is that report is appropriate? Chalo. Next question comes, who? You can ask here, who is that EQCR? Who can be an EQCR? He can be a partner, or external person. That can be, he can be inside the organization or outside the organization, but member of, it doesn't matter. But and one more thing, with appropriate expertise. See, first of all, who can be that person? He can be a partner, he can be an external person, but he should be a member of ICA, whoever it is. Not only that, he should have an appropriate expertise also. Simply, you cannot bring anybody as a EQCR there, unexperienced people. Okay, next question comes with this EQR, objectivity. Okay, we have to maintain the objectivity of an EQCR. So how do you avoid? No decisions. Then limited consultation. So no decision making. You should not be part of any decision making. Limited consultations you can make. Or if significant consultation happens, okay, two things. Then go for external consultant. So if you have to have a significant consultation, then you have left, your firm should have only two choice. Go for external consultant or change EQCR. Either you change the EQCR or change the consultant, but both cannot be with the same person. Your consultation is all, that is significant consultation. Limited consultation, yes, you may do that, limited consultation. Okay, so next thing, point number C, we have written EQCR. So we will continue with this. So you can write point number D, difference of opinion. Okay, report to be issued only after resolution. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing much here about the difference of opinion. If you have got a difference of opinion, you have to address that difference of opinion, and your report has to be issued only after addressing. And the last element, what do we have, is your engagement documentation. So documentation, timely basis, assembly within 60 days of audit report. I hope you understand. Okay, EQCR documentation is there, that we will skip because we will write in the SA 220, because we have seen it is the same thing, whether you are writing in same words, everything is same. So the last element what we have got here is your monitoring. So the element number 6, monitoring. What you need to do? QC system is adequate, relevant, and operating. Okay, so you can write like this also, in the form of points also you can write that the QC system is adequate, relevant, operating effectively. Okay, what are the factors you consider? Okay, we can have the factors listed like this. New developments are addressed. Delegation of responsibility. Deal or complaints. You can say deal with the complaints. Action against persons. Correct deficiency. Yes, so with this, we are complete with the SQC 1. I hope students you are okay, you have understood, you are very clear. Yeah, and this exercise, no, I want you to do and see, this is what you need to remember. That's it. I hope it's very easy to remember also. You know what is what, how it's connected. So like this, see, they can ask you a question on any of these concepts. One concept they can ask from this, and they can mix it this. So any of the things they can ask you. Once you are thorough with this concept, yes, you have got a learnings. You have got a learning. You can write. Okay, friends. Yeah.